my name is Sarah and today we're going behind the booktube. Kirsty from Melbourne on My Mind tagged me in the behind the booktube tag that was originally created by Katie from The Book Wanderer. In Kirsty's words, she's nosy and wants to know how everyone else does their booktubing thing, and I'm with Kirsty. I'm always curious about what different people's setups look like, how they edit, their lighting, cameras, all that jazz. So today you're gonna get a little behind the scenes peek into how everything happens here at Sarah Ann Reads. Question number 1, what kind of camera do you use? I currently use a Canon Rebel T1i, which my parents gave me for my college graduation back in 2011, and it has served me quite well over the last 4.5-ish years. However, I am hoping to get a new camera within the next several months for a couple of reasons. One, the camera is almost 5 years old, and now that I'm using it more seriously, it might be a good time to upgrade. But the bigger issue is that the T1i, the viewfinder, does not flip around, so I always have to like set my camera up, check my frame, go sit down and take like a 15-second test video, then go back and check behind the camera to make sure that everything's in focus and in the frame and how I want it to be, which is kind of frustrating sometimes. It would be a lot easier if I could just flip the viewfinder around and sit down and see what's going on right there and know right away if I'm good in my frame or if I have to get up and adjust focus or whatever. Question number 2, do you use any additional equipment, lighting, tripods, microphones, etc.? So my setup is a little bit unique and you guys have to promise not to laugh because it is quite possibly one of the most ridiculous and convoluted booktube setups.
Okay, so this is my actual setup. I sit on this little bench right here, which is the piano bench that goes to my digital piano, and then, you know, we've got the whole rest of the bookcase going on. What I actually see when I sit down, there's my lovely living room curtains, and you can kind of see my gallery wall back there for my living room. So what I see when I sit down is this right here. We've got the 2 lamps that usually go in my living room sitting atop 2 of our dining room chairs. Then I've got these 2 white foam boards that were like $1 at Target to help reflect the light a little bit better. This is my tripod, and I should have air quotes around tripod. So in place of a tripod and, you know, like nice lights and stuff, I have these lovely books. Most of them are books on writing, as you can tell, that I got for my writing and journalism classes in college, and then I've got a couple of literature anthologies and stuff, and a random box that usually sits on my coffee table, all stacked on top of my roommate's giant stepladder thing. So it's quite the extensive setup when I actually pull all my stuff out to film.
Question number 3, scripted or spontaneous? How do you plan what you're going to say in your video? I think I'm sort of a combination of the two. Part of that, though, is I don't totally know what is considered scripted within the booktube community. As a theater person, to me, scripted means that you write out word for word exactly what you're going to say before you say it. That is not how I do any of my videos, and probably will never be how I do any of my videos. And how much I script or don't script sort of depends on the videos that I'm doing. When it comes to book reviews, I tend to write out a review on Goodreads first, or I will write out the review that I plan to put on Goodreads after my video review has gone up, because that gives me an opportunity to formulate my thoughts and figure out exactly what I do and don't want to say. For a lot of my discussion videos, like why I don't use e-readers and why I read books before I see movies, I tend to do those in sort of points, like 3 reasons why I don't use e-readers, and so I've already determined those 3 reasons before I start filming. So in that sense, that order is scripted, but the actual words that come out of my mouth are very much a spontaneous thing for all of my videos. I try not to just like go off and talk about some random thing, because otherwise I just get really rambly and I wind up with a bajillion minutes of footage and it takes forever to edit and it's a pain in the butt. Question number 4, how many takes do you do when filming? Again, this sort of depends on your definition of a take. I tend to just sort of hit record and just keep talking, and sometimes I say exactly what I want to say during the exact first time that I'm trying to say it, but more often than not, which you probably know if you have watched most of my end caps, I tend to have a lot of blooper type situations where I totally screw up saying a word, or I just forget what I'm saying in the middle of what I'm saying. So in that sense, I will often have to stop and like reformulate my thoughts or stop because I flubbed a word or whatever. If you consider to take how many times you hit play on the camera, then it sort of depends on the video. The camera only records about 20 consecutive minutes of footage at any given time, so if I talk for longer than that, which tends to happen on longer videos like wrap-ups and such, then I will have to get up and hit record again. And actually, when I first started booktubing, my biggest memory card was only 4 gigs and could only hold about 20 minutes of footage. So if I went over that like 20-ish minute time limit, I would have to take the memory card out of the camera, go upload it to my computer, clear the memory card, and then sit down to keep talking about whatever I had been talking about. Fortunately, I now have a much larger memory card and I don't have to do that, but oh my goodness, it was a pain when I did. Question number 5. If you use music in your videos, where do you find it? I have just recently started playing with the idea of music in my videos. All of the music I have found thus far that I have downloaded and wanted to consider using has been from bensound.com, so you should definitely check that out. Question number 6. How do you make your thumbnails? So what I typically do is after I finish filming a video, I will set my camera on a timer, hold up the book or hold up the giant stack of books or make a face or whatever that sort of generally captures my feelings for whatever video I have just filmed. Question number 7. What do you use to edit your videos? Currently I use iMovie, which is the program that comes with all Apple computers. I am eventually hoping to move to Adobe Premiere Pro because it's awesome and that's sort of like industry standard, but there's a whole lot of craziness going on in my life and I just don't have the time to learn another video program at the moment, so maybe when things settle down a little bit, I will dip my toe in the water and figure out Adobe Premiere Pro. Question number 8. Any tips, tricks, or hacks when it comes to filming and editing? When it comes to filming, I think my biggest tip would be going back to my answer for the spontaneous or scripted question, which is to at least give yourself an outline for your videos, particularly when it comes to things like reviews or discussion videos. I have found it extremely helpful to at least outline my thoughts before I get started, because otherwise I do end up finishing filming and can often get into the editing process and go, oh my gosh, I totally wanted to say this thing and I didn't say it. And so I found that outlining stuff tends to make it so that I may say more than I need to say, but I never say less than I wanted to say. On the editing side of things, the editing tip is based on my experience in iMovie, so I don't know how this will translate to other video editing software. But for people like me who use an end card and do bloopers or things like that at the ends of their videos, I would recommend importing your end card image, dragging and dropping it into the video file before you even get started editing. Then as you come across bloopers and things like that through the editing process, you can drag and drop that 3-second or 5-second or however many second clip and drop it after the image file. So then when you get to the end of the editing process, you have all of the bloopers there already and you can decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of, rather than having to go through all of the footage again and trying to find those bloopers for the end card. Question number 9. In your opinion, what makes a good video from a production standpoint? Good lighting, make sure we can see your face, there's not a ton of shadow, etc. Make sure your camera is in focus and it's in focus on you, not on everything behind you. Making sure that your background is relevant or not a distraction. When it comes to the actual final production standpoint of it, the obvious thing to consider is video length. I've obviously had a few videos, especially recently, that have bordered on the 14 to 16-ish minute range, which I think is fine under certain circumstances, like if you read a bajillion books or if you're doing your year-end wrap-up. But if every single video is like 15 or 20 or 30 minutes long, just no. I personally think the sweet spot for most videos, particularly for Booktube, is in that like 6 to 9-ish minute range. Obviously there can be shorter videos and there can be longer videos, but I in general try to aim to make most of my videos in that 6 to 9 minute range, and we'll see how long this one winds up being, but that's the goal. So now I'm going to tag a few other booktubers because, like Kirsty, I am nosy and I want to know what your booktube setup looks like. So today I'm going to tag Raul from Latin Lector, Trina from Between Chapters, and Kayla Rain from the channel Kayla Rain. I hope you guys do this tag and I would love to see behind the scenes of your booktube. Well, there you have it, friends. That is Behind the Booktube for Sarah Ann Reads. I hope you enjoyed taking this little behind-the-scenes peek into how I make all of these videos for you guys every week. If you want to follow me elsewhere online, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads at Sarah Ann Hayes. All of the links for those profiles will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye! This tag was originally You use any additional Number 4. How many takes? You consider a take however many, if you can, so my camera only, we have a similar, and sometimes when I finish filming, I just have little dance parties.